Just some of the photographs in the lobby at the Marco Polo International Hostel in Bariloche. As I look at these rebels in time, rebels in generation, I wonder what their lives are now and how they look. I think these are just images from around the world, chosen to perhaps illustrate the diversity of men, i.e. humans. First chairlift I've been on for a while to Cerro Companario, which should give spectacular views, the first of a couple today, of the Bariloche area. This, of course, is a reminder that Bariloche is one of the great ski areas in the southern hemisphere. These are some of the flowers I saw yesterday, although I wanted to get the brilliant orange one and I never did. Once again, as I float up through this chilly, hopefully it'll be warmer air, I'm reminded that I could be sitting in my van wondering what I can do to kill the next day. Level might also be called living on the gentle edge of excited curiosity. There's a young man up here taking videos either for TV or for travel or whatever, using a giant, what I think is a very archaic video camera. It's a VHS rig. Certainly a spectacular view from up here. I'll pan slowly across what I will probably pan far too much of today. This will be about a 180-degree pan. We're looking back down the lake towards Bariloche off to our right. Can't see it from here. It's kind of humbling when you come to a place like this. From Jackson, we get rather ethnocentric Jackson. And you realize that this place has phenomenal resources. It's the only word I can use and say it over and over again to get to the dimension you feel here. I've never been in the Llao, but somehow I got a feeling this is what it might be like. Hopefully the Alps emulates this. This is almost a 365-degree view through here. Of mountains and lakes.
¿Sale en la foto? Sí, pero... Que salga la montaña. Ahí no me vas a sacar a mí, sí, no te hace mucho. Pero ahí no salí.
don't know if this is a lack of confidence in the people who do the metal construction and welding work, or just plain prudence. This in itself is one of the least interesting visages. Is pretty spectacular if found anywhere in the world, and certainly to be much exploited if found anywhere. Notice the elegant location of... Okay, this view starts on the right of the first pan, showing the Bariloche off in the distance. And truly beautiful and quaint, mainly tourist structures, but homes all along that edge, if you will, of the lake that we came down. This must be truly spectacular winter scene. And here's the view from the chairlift. Looking down the lake towards Bariloche.
Y productos de rosa
Aceite de rosa mosqueta. Mosqueta, I think, I'll look at my dictionary, but I think it must mean the word hip, rose hips. This is apparently the machinery for getting the oil out of rose hips. And then all of these cosmetics, and if there are foods here, often it's just the oil. See, aceite de rosa mosqueta. Basically, this is a mini factory for those what are alleged to be essential oils that can only be achieved from things like rosehip oil. Good for the skin and that sort of thing. This is good. They have a brochure in many different languages, including English, which is just smart business. You wonder why it's just not intuitively obvious to most other businesses that deal with tourists and therefore people who speak English and other languages.
cerquita de aquel cerro.
These are pretty if you can just carry them straight home. Here in Argentina, the elk is called Cerro Colorado. Probably, I'm guessing, because it was imported as an exotic from Colorado as an elk. And these are the cross sections of the bones filled with a mixture of various stones, including obviously turquoise. These are probably the stones over here. Very clever kind of an art form for the elk. Algún varios flores y frutas. Some various kinds of flowers and fruits. Let's get up close to some of these I have not been able to get close to before. In fact, here's a close-up of that. Takes a little bit of doing to get used to how to use this telemacro. This is absolutely cluttered with big bumblebees. This telemacro is so good I gotta stand back 2 or 3 feet before I can find the subject. Now look at a regular view. Do they love these purple flowers or what? There must be 100 or 50 to 100 of these bees right on this one plant.
Ahí vemos las canchas de golf, de 18 hoyos.
This is a small lake in the Parque Llao, which also has as a companion the extremely expensive resort area that Sally went to apparently and had tea. Bought some raspberries at a roadside stand for 4 pesos, which taps out at $1.33 US.
Y Lago Moreno a la izquierda. Allá tenemos el Cerro Capilla al fondo.
Different but spectacular view.
Buen día.
That is the expensive hotel that Sally blustered her way into for tea. I'm afraid my spot. Oh, see, there's some interesting handicraft work.
Este es un witch.
Ah, witches. Looks like the little toys, perhaps for children. Perhaps for others. Not to gross anybody out, but when you're out in these wayside areas, this is just an overlook. You find the nearest obvious trail, and a few feet in will be the bathroom, which is not a big deal as long as you know the convenience of it and how it works. Someday all this will deteriorate if the economy and the standard gets as high enough to justify, and the traffic gets high enough to justify a toilet out here.
Por la producción de trigo. Aquí cruzamos el lago Moreno, oeste a la izquierda y este a la derecha.
I'm going to try and pick up some of the architecture as we go through. Very much Colorado or Europe. A lot of that brick is used either independently or in conjunction with cement, but also you can find the cement covered with wood. Almost everything here is for rent. Beautiful little building. Beautiful. No problem. Our guide tells me that many Europeans live here, which is no surprise. There's a lot of feeling here that's similar to what I gather in Europe in their resort areas, although I've not really been to one. But I think this is also quite unique. To live outside of town, along the water, or up high if you preferred, would be in a beautiful wood home, small but beautiful, would be somewhat ideal. It's one of the few places I've seen in my travels that begins to intrigue me. It would intrigue me more if I was still able to take advantage of the sports here, like skiing and other sports. I could do the kayaking. She said that a single piece of property along the water might cost $30,000 US. And she thought that was caro, in other words, very, very expensive. Doesn't sound very expensive to me.
Otros más pequeños, 90 kilómetros de largo, centro-centro, pero de 5 cuadras hacia arriba ya nieva. En el centro no, porque hay muchos vehículos, mucha calefacción. Argentino, segundo lago Vietnam y tercero lago Nahuel. Es el Nahuel Huapi, entra 3 veces. Ya te digo, ¿sí?
Película favorita al quedar nominada en 7 categorías, ¿eh? No solo mejor película.
José, ¿sabes si hay hielo? Ahí sí. Este es un barrio residencial, Dios. Que obviamente no es de los más pobres. Por las lluvias de todo.
That is Cerro Otto.
Ahí también hay un teleférico.
Ahead of us is
Solo
Cerro
tiene
Catedral.
1405 metros de altura. Y en un principio el Cerro Otto albergó a la primera escuela de esquí que se llama
This is very much a winter sports little town at the bottom of Cerro Catedral.
Bueno, gente, acá vamos, Josecito nos va a dejar
facilities. Perhaps they go
en
even higher
Tague, que es
too. I
un
don't
lugar, digamos, de encuentro, es un punto de reunión. ¿Cómo pueden?
get a
José va a
clue
dejar
of
el
how
ómnibus
busy this
acá,
is by the parking.
donde están estos
It doesn't
ómnibus.
include the people who
Por
come in
cualquier
buses and so
cosa,
forth.
gente.
So I'm now at what I think is Via de Catedral. It's a ski area town. Bears an uncanny resemblance in feel, if nothing else, to D-Town Village, and for same reasons. How extensive the ski area is, I don't know. We'll know within the hour when I take the tram or the chairlift up there. Actually, it's a cable. Oh, gracias. I've now become, I realize, pretty much an observer of the world rather than a participant. Although, of course, to some degree I'm a participant because I'm in it, traveling and doing things. Nice restaurant that has the obligatory elk. Or a Sierra Colorado. Looks a little small. Maybe their elk are smaller than ours. I've heard that there are wild boar here, but I don't know if that's one of them. The Zona Fumadores seems like a strong concession to the foreign visitors who are repulsed at too much smoke. I guess they keep those addicted people over there on that side. An interesting building over here, at least design-wise. Don't know what it is. Might be a resort with pools and that sort of thing. Just don't know. Or it might just be a shopping center facility. Not terribly imaginative, completa, ensalada, or ensalada completa, ensalada completa. Not necessarily very imaginative, but you can see what it has. Lots of nice little goodies on it, including potatoes, hard-boiled eggs, cebolla, lechuga. I can't remember what this one is here. The beets. And the obligatory bread, and my obligatory agua de mineral con gas. Maybe it's a beginning snowboard class or something. One of the benefits of traveling solo, at least as I view it, is that oftentimes you get your seat on the bus, your seat on the chairlift, and your seat in these little thingies, whatever these are, by yourself. Because you're not part of a couple or part of a group. Works for me. Great way for skiers to get access to. Nice and warm, relatively speaking, to what might be a wild and blustery day. These are the kids that are, I think, learning how to snowboard. Practice trail there. There's that. I wonder if they get enough snow for the really great skiers to hot dog down through underneath the chairlift. Looks pretty rugged and looks pretty dangerous with those logs there. If there's not a heck of a lot of snow. This may be an outlawed thing here. This chairlift takes us up to a higher point. There's another chairlift over there. This is a combination of 3 and 2. No, it's not either. It's 3. No, it is. There's some 2 bangers and there's some 3-seaters. Still water moving down, probably from snow that melted from last year. It's winter and permeated into the ground and just seeps out and runs down. The least dramatic view, but I thought I'd just pick it up quickly. One arm of the lake. I think there are 7. Notice the sharpness of these pinnacled rocks. at, I think, maybe the top of the mountain there. The people over here, I guess they're just playing in the snow as opposed to some kind of organized activity. Sound like they're having fun. This is the summit house, but not the summit. At least for the ski. That looks like the highest summit up there. It looks like a giant ski area. The upper part nicely sloped. Lots of variety and lots of room, it looks like. And then there's another part over on the other side of that hill. We can't see from here. Top of our chairlift. And in the distance, Bariloche. I'll tell a photo or so I get closer to the long distance view of the mountains and the lake. Spectacular environment. Activities for the young or fit. How exciting. I can remember the challenge used to be to get off the chairlift. Each run, no matter how good I was, no matter who I was skiing with, like Brockmeyer or Hunt, who was world class almost, it was always an exciting, fun thrill. A challenge that when you're done gives you a sense of respect for yourself for having met some challenge. So this is what Frank meant by the autumn of the years. This is what he really meant by the winter of the years. But I'm here instead of sitting in a chair somewhere. This must have been the part of the town I didn't get to. Big lodges there, it looks like, or ski condos and apartments and so forth. There's Cerro Otto, which I think I'll skip since it certainly looks anticlimactic compared to this. That'll give me an extra half day, full day that I'll have free. It's a fall day. Probably a temperature of around 60 up here. Maybe 55, 65 down at the bottom maybe. This may be volcanic, but it seems not so to me, but I don't know for sure. And then across the way is certainly evidence of volcano, I think. Those curves seem to be part of it. The red on that one there. And even from a distance that looks like volcanic rock. bunch of those red flowers that I like, a whole patch of them.